So, A Complete Unknown is the latest film from director James Mangold, who, if you are unaware, has also done films like Walk the Line, which is another biopic about a musician. That one stars Joaquin Phoenix as Johnny Cash. He has done the phenomenal comic book film Logan, as well as several other films. And in this film, Mangold takes a look at the early career of Bob Dylan. Here, Timothy Chalamet stars as Bob Dylan, and the story focuses on an early Bob Dylan and his rise to fame, his struggles with popularity, the folk genre as a whole, and, of course, Dylan's big shift from acoustic to electric. What this film does is very quickly it draws you into the bustling scene of the 1960s New York City music scene. More importantly, though, the folk music scene, which is a very traditional genre with a lot of musicians who are rising to fame doing one simple thing, and that is getting on a stage with a guitar and singing very passionate and traditional lyrics. Well, Bob Dylan, being a unknown, starts his career in that same fashion. He is a young man with a guitar, gets on a stage, and sings some very wise, beyond his years songs. And that is one thing that drew me to the artist when I discovered Bob Dylan. And that's depicted in the movie here. Timothy Chalamet is this entire film for the most part. His performance is awards worthy if there ever was a performance to be considered for an award. He embodies Dylan from the very beginning, from his singing voice to his mannerisms, both on and off stage, and the difficulty that came along with being in the circle of Bob Dylan. This is a musician who, once he got a taste of that fame, he quickly found himself being boxed in, and his fans and the genre as a whole would expect one thing from him, and he would want to go off and do something completely different. So the film takes a lot of time focusing on that, both the early career where he just wants to make a name for himself and get his music out there, while also discovering that the things that come along with fame might not be for everybody. This is, without a doubt, one of Timothy Chalamet's best performances. I'm pretty hard-pressed to decide between this and his breakout film, Call Me By Your Name, which also got him an Oscar nomination. I say also because I don't see a world in which A Complete Unknown does not get Timothy Chalamet his second Oscar nomination. From beginning to end, he captivates in this role, and it really blurs the lines between a performance and completely inhabiting this person. You start to lose sight of Timothy Chalamet, and you really just see Bob Dylan, and that is one of the biggest praises I can give this. As for the directing, I love Walk the Line. I think it is a great biopic. Johnny Cash is a great musician, and Joaquin Phoenix played that individual very, very effectively. But James Mangold is also a director that I have been really interested in from, Walk the Line to Logan, 3:10 to Yuma. He is just so talented in whatever genre he tackles, and he's really, if I'm being honest, one of my favorite filmmakers. And every time he comes out with a movie, I can't help but get excited, and his direction here in A Complete Unknown is exceptional. This feels like one of his most intimate, natural, and mature films to date. It's really between this and, probably Logan. Logan is a very mature film, and watching that film just blew me away. But this is one of his best films to date as a director. He allows this film to move at a slow pace, and I use the word slow as a positive here. This moves at a very deliberate pace, and I could see how some people might say it is slow, but I feel like Mangold tells the story in the pace that it needs to be told. You spend a lot of time getting to know early Bob Dylan and his relationship with Elle Fanning as Sylvie, and his relationship with Joan Baez and how those two relationships kind of get mixed together, and his almost overnight success and the impact he had on a generation, and his struggles being boxed in and being defined as this when he wants to also do this, 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 and this. And then obviously his eventual shift from acoustic to electric, and how that affected a genre of music that is very traditional and kind of resistant to the change that Dylan wanted to make. So there's a lot, and I'm not even covering all of the storylines here. So there's a lot going on in this film, and each scene feels intentional. I wouldn't take anything out of this film. It is about 2 hours and 15 minutes, not 2 minutes, and I wouldn't take a minute out. It feels very deliberate. Everything feels intentional, and it covers a lot of ground in a not rushed, but just very organic fashion. And I applaud Mangold for taking all of this material and just making it feel so seamless. As I mentioned, Elle Fanning is a love interest of Bob Dylan's in this film. So is Monica Barbero as Joan Baez. Edward Norton is in this film. Boyd Holbrook plays Johnny Cash, which, interestingly enough, Johnny Cash appears in the second musical biopic that James Mangold has directed. And all of the supporting cast knows their part in this film. This is Chalamet's film, and everybody feels aware of that and gives him the breathing room to really establish and show the audience his impressive range of talent here. I mean, it's almost unfair how much talent this guy has. But the supporting cast, all of them do their part. They are effective in their roles, and they all give strong performances here. There's not a weak performance throughout this film. And it just, I've used this word before, but it just feels natural and organic. And I really love this film. I am a fan of Bob Dylan as a musician, and so I was excited for this film because of that, and because of Mangold and Chalamet in the lead role playing Bob Dylan. But this film even surpassed my expectations. This is one of my favorites of the year. I really enjoyed it. I cannot wait to go back and revisit it. And I think when it gets released on Christmas Day, this is a film that a lot of people should go see because it is great. You don't have to be a fan of Bob Dylan to enjoy it. It's just an all-around well-crafted film, and I can't wait to see the awards presence this film has this award season. So, have you seen A Complete Unknown? Let me know in the comments down below. Thank you so much for watching, and as always, I will see you in the next one.